part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Welcome back, everybody, to Podcast 616, the official podcast of Earth 616. I am your host, Damon Royster, and today we are doing it. We have moved on. Goodbye, Tim Burton. Goodbye, Joel Schumacher. No more. We don't need you. And if you're producer Michael, he don't want you. We have made it to that sweet spot. Ooh, that sweet spot of Batman. We're still talking about Batman. And it is time now for the Nolan trilogies. We're at that point in our Batman saga. And, you know, there's only one way to begin the Batman trilogy, and that is with Batman Begins, a.k.a. let's do the Bat Warp again. Gonna live with that. It was going to be a.k.a. let's take this seriously, but then I was like, we know what's coming. I can't do that.
We can't take this one seriously.
No. Because then who's going to ask why so serious after this? But anyway, Batman Begins. How do I feel about Batman Begins? I'm glad you asked, listener. Batman Begins is great. This is like the first time we put an emphasis on movie in a superhero movie, I feel. The characters feel real and lived in. This looks like a world that I know and not a world where a man who's also a penguin drools black goop out of his mouth. His mouth and his ass. Thank you, Maureen Monahan, for pointing that out. You know, even though there's no goopiness, the villains still feel big, and it feels like we're honoring the classic Batman villains. I mean, the big action set piece at the end is like crazy gas is affecting the citizens of Gotham. We know that. There's always some kind of gas happening, but I liked how this
Gotham,
movie,
the gaseous city.
Gaseous City. I mean, Metropolis. That's what Metropolis says. You know, I just like how this movie is rooted in reality. I think that's like that was a pivotal move, for better or for worse. I think when this movie came out, it was like, oh, you can take these movies seriously. You know, we don't have to have Uma Thurman saying, this is a one-woman show. And she told Lady Freeze. I mean, like, you know, in the end, like, there's gas loose in Gotham, but it's specifically targeted on the poor part of Gotham, the Narrows, as they call it, which I assume the plan was to get the poor people crazy on the gas and then have them kill the rich. I assume. Michael Caine is a sleigh. Finally, an Alfred I can get behind. Christian Bale is a great Batman. I really like seeing him become this larger than life character. This is a nice origin story. We've never had that before. And, you know, it's just about a man who came up with this idea to protect his family legacy. I just like seeing a superhero choose to help and not feel like obligated to. I've always had some qualms with that idea of like, with great power comes great responsibility. Even though that's what we say at the end of every podcast, it feels a little more like you have to do that. So I like that this guy wants to help people. He wants to be a hero. Yes, we could say he's a white savior, but my God, well, I feel like.
Oh, and I will.
If you feel empowered to do so, go forth. But someone's got to do it. Gotham's a mess. Did you see that place? Trash. What a trash fucking city. And here's my controversial hot take. Are you ready? Here it is. This is Katie Holmes' best role. Katie Holmes has never been better in anything else but this. Yeah, like Dawson's Creek is how we know her, but Batman Begins is her best work.
How we see her.
And that's hard for me because I love the 1998 film Teaching Mrs. Tingle, which is her second greatest role. It's on Paramount Plus right now. Fucking watch it. I love Teaching Mrs. Tingle. These students take their history teacher hostage. It's incredible.
I'm excited to dive into this because of my note that I wrote down. I see why Katie Holmes did not come back for the second movie.
Yeah, the script wasn't doing her any favors. But
oh, no.
She was like, oh, I've played opposite with James Van Der Beek. I know what to do.
I can do this. You think I'm scared of a few pouty lips? I can do this.
And listeners, you're like, wait a minute. Damon has an intro to guests. Does he have guests? Who are these other voices? I do have guests. Let me bring them to your ears. My first guest can't stop talking about superheroes with me. I think we've crossed a bridge where you no longer feel the need to need an ant present. But how do they feel about bats? We'll find out. Please welcome to your ears the performer, writer, and game designer, your friend and mine, Ethan August.
Hello, everybody. Bats are rodents, ants are rodents. I'm here.
Bat,
Pests.
Ant. Yeah, Ethan's pest control.
I'm pest
Uh,
control.
but I've got a second guest. Also, this is a double whammy. Both these guests have been on so many times, never together, I believe.
Never together.
Crazy.
Don't cross the streams.
I would never. Oh, well, I mean, I guess I am today.
You are
But,
now.
the second guest, he is a wearer of hats. He loves to sit in front of maps. And he also was the dialect coach for Liam Neeson. Please welcome to your ears, Trent Dozier.
Oh, he's so strong. You can't tell.
Oh my God. Trent is wearing a shirt that says Batman. Is that for today?
Well, I mean, it is for today, but it's for every
He was
day.
gonna wear it anyway.
Yeah. Like, were you already wearing it?
He was.
Who's to
I
say?
can't go get mine.
No. One bad shirt per pod.
Deal.
Okay. Hello, guests.
Hi.
I really skimmed over. It's hard. I was going to ask both of you your opinions on Batman, but Ethan, from being in your house, and Trent, from seeing your shirt, I know that you guys are on the Bat team. Is that
we're the Bat Boys?
Yeah. The Bat Boy? Michael, can we trademark that? We're going to trade that mark.
Quick,
Michael, yeah.
run to the patent office.
Quick. You know how quickly they close.
Trent, is it true that you are the son of the Batman Hush statue that sits outside the AMC Burbank 16?
Yes, I am the son of that statue, and he's disappointed in me every single day because I'm not out here fighting crime in LA. But I don't know. It's just not for me.
Oh, and that's why you don't go to the AMC Burbank anymore.
It's hard. Luckily, there's 3 of them right there, so I can go to one of the other 2.
One of the ones that I don't have to walk through a disappointing glare.
Well, let's just dive in, because it's like, this is my 5th time talking about Batman, so there's really no need to go over Batman lore, except that's exactly what this movie is. So I think we'll discover it as we talk about it.
Yeah.
Ethan August, you strike me as someone who loves seeing children go through trauma.
Yeah.
How much did you laugh when Bruce fell through that hole in the ground?
I was laughing all the way down. He was screaming. I was laughing. I do love that it's couldn't be clearer, where it's like, Bruce, you stole something and now you've been karmically punished immediately. It's just not subtle. And I think that was a big joy for me. I also, the fact that it's an arrowhead too, where it's like, oh, also, this wasn't your family's land forever. It's like,
damn. Okay. Yes, colonialism. Even in Gotham.
Even in Gotham. But no, it's just for also the like different ways to be traumatized as a kid. Being stuck in a well is kind of a classic.
Yeah. We later learned that like ancestors of the Wayne family were a part of the Underground Railroad, and that's why there are these like caverns underneath. And I was like, great. Literally, hashtag not all white people are racist. Great. I was like, sure, the Waynes are the good ones. I get it.
They single-handedly saved the Gotham from when they all poor.
They helped free the slaves. They helped the poor. Mr. Wayne's a doctor. But you know what? You know who has no fucking lines in this movie? Martha Wayne. That mother says not a goddamn word, even when she's about to get popped.
She says one single thing. And the only reason I even clocked it was because going through the whole movie up until that point, I was like, oh my God, I don't think she's going to speak. And I was shocked that they did give her a line, because then that bumped up her pay. I don't remember. It's when they come out of the theater, she says something like, what was wrong? And then Dr. Wayne is like, it wasn't Bruce. It was me. I just needed some fresh air.
Yeah.
It was Bruce. And it's now his parents' fault that, spoiler, they're dead.
Yeah. Well, it's his
fault that his parents are dead.
If Damon, when you, I mean, you're pretty consistently taking children to the opera. What do you do when they start to get overwhelmed? Do you leave for good, or do you? Because that moment when he's like, "Can we go?" My parents would have been like, "We spent money on these tickets. Like, maybe we can go out to the lobby for like a couple minutes for a breath of fresh air."
Money is nothing to the Waynes. Money is nothing to the Waynes.
When you're the billionaires in town, you can come and you kind of have an open revolving door policy for the opera. It's like, you'll show up late, you'll leave early, whatever. We'll go tomorrow.
We'll go tomorrow. We'll buy the opera and make them do private shows for us. I would just say, for a movie about a kid who becomes so traumatized by his fear that he decides to inflict it on everyone around him, we start off with some bad parenting of being like, yeah, this is how we'll just let you run away from it.
Mhm.
instead of
Well,
like, well, let's
I
deal with
mean,
this.
their son turned into a giant bat. They're not the greatest parents. Sorry. I'm sorry. I know they died, but like
I
they're
honestly
not.
think they gave up on the job at about like 8 years in.
What? Well, they had Alfred, and they're like, he's got it.
Yeah.
I want to go to Trent. So, Trent, you were brave enough to share that your father is the Batman statue in Burbank. And there's a lot of
Yes.
father-son things. So much so that it was a little bit of a turnoff for me. I'm not a big fan of the, not only is dad proud of me, but also like, was my dad a good person?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Mostly for most dads, this is biased. They're probably not. Kind of, that's my hot take on dads. Most of them probably are not great. But Trent, your father is a statue. Like,
hmm
did you feel like a connection to young Bruce trying to like impress his father and be brave like you do for your inanimate object of a father?
Yeah. I'm always trying to impress him, and it seemed like Bruce really admired his father, really wanted to make him proud, and I think we can all tell is really torn up about his death. So
Only the dad's death.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that was like that's the craziest part of this movie is that I guess it's very that's like that's the Christopher Nolan twist on Batman is that he only cares about his dad's death, not that
Yeah.
his mom
Mhm.
was also slain in front of him.
No, it's
Did,
weird to watch a Chris Nolan movie where the women are deprioritized.
what do you mean, Ethan? I'm about to watch two more. Are you telling me that like what? He's just gonna change a brown-haired woman into another brown-haired woman into
Mm-hmm.
another brown-haired
hmm
woman?
hmm
Mm-hmm.
Much
hmm
like in the original Batman movies, it was blonde woman, blonde woman, blonde woman. I don't
hmm
know.
Seeing how Bruce only focuses on Dad's death makes me realize how brave Zack Snyder was in Batman v Superman. I was like,
hmm
you know what it's all about?
No.
Mommy.
Martha, Martha.
Thank
Um,
you, mother.
we haven't gotten there yet, so I have no idea what you're talking about. Batman v Superman? Do they know each other?
Oh, just
Oh.
wait.
My listeners, we don't know nothing about that. So, okay, let's stay in pre Ra's al Ghul territory.
hmm
We get a little flash forward. We have like college age Bruce.
hmm
Tell he's young because his hair is so floppy.
Yeah, he's
Um,
in his semester abroad.
yes. And he finds out that was this correct? Is the man's name Joe Chill or
Yeah.
was that his name?
Mhm.
Joe Chill?
Because he puts the
Yeah.
daddies on ice.
Okay, we're sending the police to arrest
Wh-
Ethan for that.
Why did everyone
Uh,
turn their cameras off?
it feels like everyone's in a private chat right now without me. Uh,
I didn't know you could make Zoom rooms that fast.
oh, we can, Ethan. Um, so he goes to I just want to call this man Be More Chill, but Joe Chill, and then he runs into Katie Holmes. Katie Holmes is Rachel Dawes.
Uh-huh.
Dawes. Rachel Dawes.
Dawes.
That's the correct way to pronounce it. Rachel Dawes.
Rachel adores Bruce.
Oh, hey, Rachel Dawes. Which, okay, I will jump ahead to Dark Knight. I think it's hilarious that Rachel Dawes is the assistant district attorney sleeping with her boss in this one, and then she's also the assistant
Twice.
district attorney
Yes.
sleeping with her boss in the
Twice.
next one.
Thank you, Damon. I was absolutely gonna point that out. Insane.
When we
Bad
jump to
lawyer.
this later, and she's like, "We've been through this before,"
Yeah.
and then still kisses him on the cheek. I'm like, "Gal,
Mhm.
you're sending mixed signals."
I mean, I have to imagine it's just a dying vestige of like pre-smartphone culture, because like that's how
Mhm.
you would meet your partners, is
Yeah.
who you're
That
working
is
with. But
true. Now that I have a smartphone, I never kiss anyone on the cheek.
mhm, that's why we have the like button.
Yeah. Exactly.
There used to be kisses on the cheeks, but now you could just like people's posts.
Mhm.
Uh, but Rachel is like, I really like this moment where like Bruce has this gun, he's gonna kill Mr. Chill.
Mhm.
Then badass bitch reporter, this undercover reporter is like, Falcone sends his love, and bang
Mhm.
bang. I'm describing the scene, but I think what's more important is like this feels like a crime movie. This feels
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
about like corruption, and it feels like a police drama or like a legal drama in some ways.
Mhm.
It does a really nice job of setting up Gotham, and it extends it on a larger scale in the way they kind of talk about it too. But it's like you see why someone would look at the system and be like, it needs help. It's not like you're like Bruce comes in
Yeah.
and watches things go smoothly, and then it's like, and how can I add on to this? He's like, no, 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 this
Yeah,
is
what about the cape?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He sees the issues, and I did enjoy when Katie Holmes. I'll just call her Katie Holmes for the rest of this time.
Deal.
Maggie Gyllenhaal is Rachel Dawes. Let's be real. When Katie Holmes drives the car into the lower side and we go to the Narrows, and like, I don't know, that just seemed. I feel like we're past that point as a culture, but at the time, I was like, yeah, show this rich
Yeah.
jerk like what the other side looks like. Yeah, I just am. I will always trumpet and applaud this movie for doing such a great job of just telling me why a person would do all this. You
Mm-hmm.
know, mixed with it because his, even though his mother is mostly mute, he had a lovely family and a lovely home. It's not her fault she's mute. That's why she married a doctor.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's like, can you give me back my voice? Sorry,
He's
And
gonna
he
try.
said, I can, but I won't.
Yeah.
because that's real power to choose not to help. Um. Anyway, and then man, when Katie Holmes when she slapped him when she saw the
Mhm.
gun, she's like smack,
Mm-hmm.
smack. Ooh,
Mm.
she's a good actress, guys.
Yeah.
Also, and then she's like, your father would be so disappointed in you. I was like, oh, Bruce's mom does have some lines in this movie.
Are you saying he sees Rachel as his mother?
That Rachel is mommy. Mhm.
Rachel is mommy. I mean, he don't got mommy, so he's gonna look for mommy.
So he's
Mhm.
gonna look for mommy.
When people don't have mommy, they go find mommy.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they marry mommy. I'm sorry.
Where's mommy? Where's mommy?
You're not my mother. Anyway, so as you both know, producer Michael, he does research on all of our guests.
Mm-hmm.
And Trent Dozier, you actually, we found out you studied abroad with the League of Shadows.
Michael,
So
you son of a gun! How'd you even get this info?
can you please let us know the insight? What was it like training with the Raish Al Ghul? Also, let me know how you pronounce Ra's al Ghul. Are you a Raz or are you a Raish?
I'm a Roz guy.
I'm a rash Al Ghul.
Rash Al
Rash.
Ghul. Wow.
Rash Al Ghul. Hmm.
The most painful part of Batman is there's about 17,000 ways you can pronounce this man's name.
And they do.
And I don't know. I don't know what's correct.
But Trent, talking about League of Shadows, what was that like training there?
Quite frankly, it was one of the greatest experiences of my life.
Quite frankly.
I made some of my best friends there in the world.
You still do trivia nights with them, right?
Yeah, we got a great group. We call ourselves. You were gonna ask?
Please.
I was going to ask you that, yeah.
Yeah. We call ourselves League of Shadows Trivia Squad.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we were not very creative.
LOSTS.
We were not very creative with the name. Yes, exactly. But yeah, it was basically like summer camp, but cooler, and we were doling out justice as Roz saw fit, which was incredible. And I can't legally say what I did up there, but since I don't know how podcasts work, I think I am safe in just telling you that I've murdered more than one person, but it was all in the name of justice, and that just
sounds
stays
safe.
with us, right? And that doesn't go out to anybody.
I mean, just to my hundreds of listeners.
Great.
Just them.
Great.
Thank you, Trent. So I'm of two minds.
Mhm.
I think this
one
is one
Bruce, one Bats.
Yeah, much like Bruce Wayne, I'm of two minds. I think this is the best like movie training, not even not montage, but like sequence of like really showing me like he's in the prison to when like the whatever castle, what do you call it when you go to karate? Dojo. When the dojo is destroyed.
What do you call when you go to karate?
What do you call that? The dojo. When he blows up the dojo of Rachel. Like that whole sequence is beautiful. But I will say this.
Yeah.
The fight choreography in these movies, a little messy.
Yeah,
I noticed
it's okay.
that this time.
Yeah.
I felt that too.
Yeah.
I think because these movies are so like lauded for a bunch of other stuff, like grounding Batman, pulling him away from the Schumacher stuff, for example, and like just kind of generally being looked upon as, extremely favorably. And then obviously the next movie is like celebrated as one of the greatest movies, regardless of superhero or not.
Academy Award winning.
Yeah.
Maybe the first superhero movie ever to win an Oscar.
I think, yeah. I could be. I think you're.
Yeah, except for Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot she was
I forgot
blasted
about that one being a superhero movie.
Yeah, when she was blasted by gamma rays during the Civil War.
But I think like you can kind of overlook the the stuff that's bad in this, like the fight choreography,
Mhm.
because it is so like just remembered, the movie as a whole is remembered great in our minds.
I do think this one does not get its fair share of flowers in
I
the
agree.
trilogy. I think that
Agreed.
people jump
Agreed.
straight to how great Dark Knight is, but you're like,
Hmm.
it couldn't have existed without this one.
Hmm.
But then you see some of those moments where it's like, you didn't quite like they're trying to
Hmm.
ride the thin line of like, can we still be superhero but still be real? And there's the moments on a rewatch are like funny when they stick out in the League of Shadows training when it's his like when the ninjas all have the step routine to do the shell game with
Yeah.
Raz.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like, this I love the outcome of it. He's like, oh well, I'll cut the other one in exactly the same spot. The
Mhm.
resolution, very cool, very smart. The whole step routine, the the slow shuffling, like I was like, oh, this is going on for a while. They're trying to be too
Mhm.
white man think ninja cool here of
How how long do you think rehearsals were before they nailed the
can
choreography?
you imagine? Honey, I finally got like a part, a really good one in a Batman movie. I've got 3 weeks of rehearsals. I'm gonna be in the best fight scene in the movie.
I'm a ninja. I'm a literal ninja baby. Incredible. Incredible. Ethan August. You and we've been friends for many years now, but
Mhm.
we've never talked about Liam Neeson, and I would like to begin that conversation now. What do you think?
Yeah, this is a grievous error because there's a lot to say about Sir Liam.
Yes, Liam Neeson's to pronounce
The
his name
Neesons,
correctly.
yes.
Neeson's.
Uh, I was trying to look at like so this movie came out in 2005,
Hmm.
and being like, what was your idea of Liam Neeson when this movie came up? Because as a kid growing up with the Star Wars prequels, I was like Qui-Gon Jinn, Liam Neeson, maybe my favorite Jedi as a kid. I also read like a
Mm.
bunch of the like young adult Qui-Gon Obi-Wan adventure books, so that
Yeah.
figure was high in my head. I think he knocks this out of the fucking park. I think he is
Yes.
doing
Yes.
so good in this, and it's
I
just he's like, yeah, I'm your dad now.
yeah.
I'm gonna make
Yeah.
fun of you for your trauma.
Also,
Uh,
he dunks on Mr. Wayne. He's like, "Your
Yeah.
father was a coward. Your father
Hmm.
yeah,
sucks. Your father's a pussy. Fuck your dad."
you didn't mind your footing. Um, I did watching this one. I was like, oh, is this? There is an interesting pattern. I can't wait till we see the third example of this. We take Batman Begins, we take Iron Man 3, and we
Mhm.
take Men from the British Isles, scapegoating Asian figures. We have the Mandarin, and we have Ra's al
Ah.
Ghul.
Hmm.
We
Hmm.
have the white substitutes as we pop in there. I was like, oh, that's kind of an interesting little one of the
Yeah.
Ben King. And then I was like, what if Ben Kingsley was Ra's al Ghul here?
I mean, well, I see what you mean. It is there, but like this is because Ben Kingsley was just kind of like a shell game. Like it's like he's not really anything, just a drug addicted actor. But I love that reveal. I love that Liam Neeson was actually Ra's al
Yes,
Ghul
the
the
whole
whole
time.
time.
It's
Ugh.
cool to like put him off to the side where, and actually, I watching it this time wish that we maybe would have had more like persona building of Ken Watanabe, a
Hmm.
consistent Chris
Yeah.
Nolan collaborator, which was
Collaborator.
awesome.
Yeah.
Love him. Love him.
Maybe because I love him so much too, give him more at the beginning where it's like, is Liam Neeson's character Deckard? Is that
Descartes.
Hmm.
what
Yeah.
they?
Ducard.
Hmm.
Where it's like, if we had a little bit of tension of Bruce being like, I will train with the League of Shadows. I know I don't agree with them, but like I'm gonna extract what I want out of this. And then like maybe Descartes is like he's my mentor. Like we have this personal bond that exists outside the ideologies of the League of Shadows. To then
Hmm.
have that twist of the knife of the reveal later be more impactful. But also, I'll be honest, like once we get back to Gotham, there's a big stretch of the movie that I lose some attention. Uh,
Yeah.
Billionaire playing with his toys didn't hook me this time around,
Hmm.
but the League of Shadows stuff, like I had a lot of fun with, and so I think I was kind of like, well, let's do more of this. Like,
Yeah.
there's a
Hmm.
great comic series, a mini series called Batman the Knight, written by Chip Zdarsky. That normally when we see the Bruce Wayne origin stories, like year one, it's like his first year as Batman in Gotham. The Knight is what about those years he spent on the road going and training?
Mm.
And that
Nice.
is what this movie feels like. But it's like, oh, it's like he goes and learns from like a cat burglar in Paris. He goes and
Mm.
does like, where did he
Oh,
get all
cool.
these skills?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was curious, Damon, of like, we see him like kind of embedding with a group of thieves before he lands in prison, and
Hmm.
we
Yeah.
see him in the League of Shadows. Do you have anything else that you would have like loved to see Bruce Wayne going and adding to his training list as part of Batman Begins if we had?
Interesting. Like, I like what you said about like seeing him work with like a cat burglar. That would be
Mhm.
cool. Like, do you guys remember the end of Ocean's 12 when like that French guy goes through like all the lasers?
Yes.
Would love to see that. I get honestly, I'm a sucker for a sword fight. Any
Mm.
kind of sword fighting training, or what do they call it in Game of Thrones? The dance,
The water dancing.
the water dancing. That would have been cool. I was gonna say, Ethan, if you want more, and if you can stomach a CW level show, season 3 of Arrow.
Gotham.
Oh
Oh.
no, no, no. Arrow.
Gotham.
Oh
Season
yeah.
season 3 of Arrow literally is this movie. Like Ra's al Ghul's back, and he has to like fight him with swords.
With
Ugh.
swords.
Damon, not to be a contrarian, for me,
But
season 3 of Arrow is when it goes off an effing cliff. The first
okay,
two seasons of
I,
Arrow are some of the finest television in the history of television. And season 3, I don't even remember what happens. I just know that was when I was like, the
well,
light is gone in my life. There is no darkness. My parents might as well have been murdered in an alley in front of me when I was a child. I only see the night now.
okay. Trent, little hyperbole. Arrow went off a cliff just because he literally did fall off a cliff in episode
Yeah,
10 called The Climb
it's pretty good,
because he was
Damon.
sort insane. All right, so that's Ra's al Ghul.
What else do you think Bruce Wayne on his travels took an improv class?
Thank you. That's what I was gonna say. When you were describing like Bruce
Not
goes
even
to
not even Bruce Wayne has the money to afford an improv class.
well, I was thinking about that. You were like, oh yeah, Bruce Wayne goes to the League of Shadows and takes what he wants and then leaves. I'm like, literally me and Sharna.
Yeah.
Sharna
The
Halpern is Ra's al Ghul.
the parallels of doing IO with the League of Shadows.
Yeah.
You pop in, you get like a specific bond with your teacher, and then the person
Mhm.
who looks the most League of Shadows, which is Sharna Halpern in IO, like gives you a little speech before your test at the end.
Yeah.
Uh,
And oh wait, who's the but it's like maybe it's like Del Close, but the real one's Sharna.
Yeah, yeah,
She's the
yeah,
real
yeah.
menace. And then the last task is the invocation. Can you nail it? Okay, improv nerds
what do you think
achieved.
what do you think about the last task? It's the training here spends a lot of time about like the pageantry and the theatricality of
Mhm.
like using fear as a weapon. And the movie
Mhm.
hangs on that idea a lot. And then
Yeah.
at the end of his time here, they're like, by the way, gotta kill this guy. What's your thought on them slipping in the Batman doesn't kill?
I mean, we're gonna be in it. Feels like forever, so might as well start somewhere. I think when you maybe it gets lost because we're jumping through time so much, but I think when you pair it with when he was going to kill that man who killed his
Yep.
parents
Yeah.
and he missed that opportunity, and then he gets told by Katie Holmes, greatest actress in the movie. Yes, that's true. She is the greatest actress in this movie. The greatest female actor in this movie is Katie Holmes. Like she's like, shame on you. Your father would be ashamed of you for doing that.
She's the only one with lines, so it's got to be her, right?
Exactly, Trent. Exactly. But I think that coupled with meeting Falcone as well. We haven't talked about
Mm.
Falcone yet, but like having that sit down with him and he's like, that's real power, kid. I think when he's in with the League of Shadows and they're like, kill this thief, and it's like, well, I don't want to be, I don't want to make Katie mad again, but also I don't want to be Falcone. He's a mobster, and that's how he collects power. So I get it. I will become annoyed with like, I don't kill.
Yeah.
When that comes up.
But that doesn't mean I have to save you.
Yeah. Damon, you said earlier too, you said something to the effect of this is the best like origin story of Batman that they've shown on screen. And
Yeah.
I fully agree. Everything they set up at the beginning pays off later, and you can track like logically why Batman is making these choices. And I feel like
Mhm.
oftentimes in the other movies, or some earlier comics or whatever, it's not as fleshed out, and just like Batman is making this choice because he is the good guy, and that is what is correct. Whereas here, it's like, this is how his moral system was built. Like, he had a good foundation, but he was also, as we saw at the beginning of the movie, a spoiled rich kid who was stealing,
I'll go
stuff
to the
from his
next
friend.
opera.
Yeah, yeah. And
I'm bored, Mom.
and his, his sense of morality, like, we saw every brick being built, and now the house is impenetrable. He will never kill.
Well, I mean, his actual house got burned to the ground. Drunk billionaire burns down building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a headline. Drunk billionaire burns down building. That was a headline in the movie Batman Begins. And the headline for Podcast 616 is, we're going to take a break.
Oh!
We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about fucking Oppenheimer. He's in this movie. As well as, finally, an Alfred I can get behind. Michael Caine is here. Moss Wine. What's the point doing all those bloody push-ups if you don't take a break? So we're going to take a break, and we'll come right back with more Batman Begins. Bye.
Part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
What's up, everybody? Chase Smith here from the Chase Smith Podcast and Cavs on the Break NBA Podcast.
And I'm JD, host of the Hyman Podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network, and we are super excited to bring you a brand new show starting next Tuesday, the Fanfare Podcast.
The Fanfare Podcast is all about your favorite movies and our favorite movies and the best moments in cinema. To help guide our discussion, each episode will feature one classic, and we will grade this movie using a report card-like scale A through F. We're going to be grading categories like acting, directing, cinematography, the score, and even the movie poster itself.
And when we're not featuring a movie report card, we'll be sharing our movie rankings, franchise deep dives, actor and director interviews, and everything in between. Movies have been a major part of our lives, and we cannot wait to share our thoughts with you.
Our premiere episode will drop Tuesday, June 27th, and JD and I will be reviewing Raiders of the Lost Ark in preparation of the release of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny on June 30th, the fifth installment of the franchise.
Join us on the Fanfare Podcast, available on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcast.
Hey everyone, this is Don Mike Mendoza, the host of Producing While Asian. Join us in Season 2 for more conversations with actors, artists, producers, and more from Broadway, Hollywood, and beyond, every other Wednesday on the Press Play Podcast Network.
And we're back. Ethan August, you actually, I hope you guys don't mind. I'm like blowing up your spot. I'm producer Michael did research on you.
I mind big time, but it seems like you're just gonna do it anyway.
It's already happened. Yeah.
Okay, I'm so happy you don't mind. Ethan August, Michael did some research and found out that you actually studied to be a butler under Alfred. Because for a short time in your life, you were a butler. What was that training like? You kind of had your own League of Assassins training, but with Alfred.
Yeah, actually, it was interesting with Trent going through his. I was like, that is exactly what my experience was like.
Wow.
Real, like, I don't think
you were training in the
League
League of Butlers.
Yeah, well, so first off, to get to the what do you call when you go do karate? We're at the dojo. The dojo that you have to get to on the top of the mountaintop for the League of Butlers. I don't know, Trent, you had it easy. I had to climb to the top of the mountain, carrying everyone else's bags.
Oh,
so,
no.
But the thing is you just kind of wear it all with dignity, even when it's weird that the first line of my contract does say you will likely have to raise these kids. There is you are signing a death pact of you sign up to be a butler, you sign up to be a parent. That's just all there is to it. And I love my little scamps.
I think more people should know. I love Alfred. This for me, it doesn't get no better.
Yeah.
No better.
Yeah.
I just think Michael Caine just does a great job toggling the line of not being 100% on board, but still being supportive of hey man, I get it. The city sucks. For Alfred, it's oh, you're doing this for the family legacy, for the Waynes. And I, for some reason, have sworn my life to the Waynes.
Yeah.
No matter who's left. and maybe this is why, I mean, we'll talk about what they did in The Dark Knight Rises, but this is why I didn't mind that there wasn't a Robin or a Batgirl, because I feel like this is all the sidekick he needs
Yeah.
with Lucius Fox.
Lucius Fox.
Yeah.
Hey, Morgan Freeman's great in this.
He's so
He is.
good.
I love their little banter together. They're just like little mischievous boys of like,
Yeah.
oh, I know what you're doing, and I know you know what I'm doing. But we're
Spelunking.
gonna do it.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Wayne.
What do you think Alfred did in Wayne Manor all those years after Bruce was declared dead? Because I think that's part of the reason why he stuck Bruce, because he's got the cash now. I like the line when they're coming back on the private jet, and he's like, "I'll let you drive the Rolls Royce if you bring it back with a full tank of gas."
Full tank.
Yeah, I think he was throwing a couple parties, you know?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think it was just a bunch of his hooligan lads from his youth days watching cricket on the telly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what my Alfred does. And then we also got Morgan Freeman, who, like, again, this is like, where does he get all this stuff? Lucius Fox, like all this R&D stuff that's just gathering dust. And you know, this also makes it feel real that people just know and they're just not saying anything. Like, the Tim Burton Batman's just like, who is this guy? Oh my God. Also, we have a billionaire we never see. What's going on? So I like that, you know, Lucius Fox is in on it a little bit. And also, going back to Alfred, this is the old guy section, I guess. But going back to Alfred, I liked how Alfred was like, you need to be out in the world so people don't get suspicious.
Yeah.
And it created like this persona. Did we like I know we didn't like the rich guy trying out the toys and things, but I love the hotel scene where he brings the two women from Europe.
And then buys out the hotel so that he
Buys
can
the
swim in the
hotel,
pool.
yeah.
I'm gonna buy this hotel.
It is funny. As much as we got the like sequence of like, here's all your toys, I could have also done with Bruce Wayne getting Pretty Woman, learning how to be a billionaire, building that mask up. Let's see what it's like.
Ethan,
here's how you
don't do this
handle
to
the
me.
check at a party.
When you're training with the League of Billionaires, the butlers from the League of Butlers are the one who bring your bags up the hill for you.
Michael, you did research on Damon for this, right? And he studied in the League of Billionaires.
Michael, don't answer that. How dare
The
you?
only spot that can't be blown up.
Yeah, you can't blow up Michael's spot or mine. I do love the Pretty Woman angle. I wish at the end when he, instead of saying "I don't have to save you," he was like, "Big mistake, huge." Woo! And goes flying. When he just like expands his cape and goes zoop, out.
Yeah.
Nothing better. Nothing better.
Except for, I think there was just like one too many of the like, let's explain the gadgets for me. But it did lead to one of my favorite things where after we've already, it's like, oh, feel this fabric. And if you run an electric current through it, it's a shape. It's now a kite. Like, that's cool. And then like 4 shots later, we see him with the long gloves, just like limp. And then he extends them and then they're limp. And I was like, and does he slide his fingers into those on the cape? But also just that one shot. There are some incredibly funny cutaways in this movie for a movie that's very serious. And one is Bruce Wayne hunched over, just like with the floppiest little gloves.
He's trying it out. He's trying out new things because he's got to deal with some criminal masterminds. Can we talk about Cillian Murphy?
Always.
Trent, you've got your devil horns up. You liking this? You liking this man? The Scarecrow?
Yeah.
Crane?
Yeah, he's awesome.
He does rock. He's so weird.
He's so weird.
I really love it.
Yeah, he's very like, I love villains that think they are in control when in reality they are a pawn, which is ironic because both Falcone was that and Cillian Murphy was kind of the one who revealed to him that he was a pawn. But Scarecrow is also a pawn, as we know in Ra's al Ghul's game.
Yeah,
it is interesting. Like Dr. Crane too, though, like knows that, and it's like he's like, I'm getting my own little thing that I want, which is all of these resources to keep studying, keep doing my experiments. He's like, oh, I know I'm fueling something bigger. I don't really care about that. I'm getting my slice of the cake here, which I feel like makes him more dangerous, but also gives us that perfect like mini boss moment where it's such an interesting thing later in the movie where he's like, yeah, they can't stop us now. Let the police come. Like
That's actually
Yeah.
kind of okay. Stay with me. This is a thought forming in real time, but that
hell
feels
yes.
like the crux of every Batman villain is that they have like a specific thing that they personally want and that they want to achieve. And that ultimately is always their downfall, is that they're not broad, which is why I think the Joker is the best villain, like generally speaking, and then of course against Batman, because he's not like, oh, my goal is to get this specific thing. His goal is pure like, whatever, screw you.
Yeah,
I just
just
want
chaos.
I just want
change
chaos.
hearts and minds.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. I would agree. But yeah, I love Scarecrow. I think that's. I mean, what do you want? It was 2005. Is it a little on the nose that our theme
Yeah.
is fear? And we
Yeah.
pick a villain
Yeah.
whose power is
Yeah.
to make you feel your fear.
hmm
Get the fuck over yourself, Jesus. It's just Batman.
I do like the revelation that everybody who sees the like fear toxin world affected by the drug in this movie sees somebody with glowing eyes. And I'm like, that's Chris Nolan's specific fear, is that if your eyes are lit up.
Yeah.
Is that confirmed or is that your speculation?
It's my speculation because everybody has glowing eyes in the fear toxin world.
Everyone. I don't know, like when the toxin is like exposed to the Narrows and everybody's getting affected and Batman's like flying over and he's got the red glowing eyes. I'm like, does he want this? Like
Yeah.
the people he's protecting are also terrified.
Are now terrified of him.
Yeah.
He doesn't discriminate on who he wants to scare.
Yeah.
True. He's an equal opportunist scarer.
So I say Tom Wilkinson as Falcone, fucking rocks. Tom Wilkinson's
Yeah,
so good.
he's great.
R.I.P.
He's
Love
great.
him.
Yeah. He's like, man, like I love the scene when he's like pretending to be crazy.
Yeah.
And the scarecrow comes in and he's like, yeah, I'm seeing things, Doc.
Also, the scene where Bruce comes into his bar and sits down with him is actually really, really good.
Really good.
Like,
good.
who do you think? And I think that's such a, as we talked about, the like compass setting for
Yeah.
Bruce. Like that scene is just really well done all the way through.
Fantastic. So he's Batman. Sorry to yada 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 third act, but I feel like we've said the main parts of this. Oh my gosh, Commissioner Gordon or Sergeant then Lieutenant
Sergeant
Gordon.
and Lieutenant.
Gary Oldman, living up to his name.
When
I
he's
mean-
Gary Oldman and he takes the key fob right to the windshield of the bat tumbler.
Mhm.
How does this thing work?
That was so funny when he like went like
Whoa!
deeper into the bat tank.
Do you think you could drive a giant car face down? That was
No.
when he slides into that. That was
No.
such a weird sensation.
Yeah, that's not
Laying
a
down.
natural driving position for me.
No. For you.
I'm gonna start trying to drive like that.
Yeah.
Front seat, my driver's seat folded forward. I'm laying on top of it.
Yeah.
And you would just like use your hands for both the pedals and the steering wheel.
Pretend I'm super. Oh yeah, I guess. Don't know
Yeah.
how you do the pedals.
Ethan, you can't forget how to drive a car when you're driving a car differently.
I'm always doing that.
Always. But yeah, I like this reveal. The League of Shadows came to destroy Gotham because they were like, this city is so fucked. We just have to get rid of it, which is, I don't know. It's like a very thrifting clothes kind of mentality for cities and people. It's too war. We gotta trade this in. And yeah, Batman loses his mansion but saves the city. Ish. I mean, what? People still have this fear toxin in them. All the criminals at Arkham are running loose. It's a great setup for more Batman movies. I'll give you that. And then Katie Holmes, again, best actress in this movie. She goes up to Bruce and she says, "That's not your face." She said, "Your face is not your face.
This one's the mask.
You are the mask."
You are the mask.
Final question I'll ask you guys. Do you think Katie Holmes would prefer to date him in Batman costume?
That's what she's asking. She comes up to him, it's like, we can be together. And then he puts on the cowl and she's like, now we can do it.
Yeah.
No, I think no. I think she's only sexually attracted to whoever is her boss. So if Batman is her boss, then yeah. If Bruce Wayne is her boss, then yeah.
I
But
see.
she's got a bunch of district attorneys she's lining up. So
That's our girl, Rachel. Rachel Dawes, only sexually attracted to her boss. And who are we sexually attracted to? You are about to find out right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, we're doing it. We have arrived. It is time for Fuck, Marry, Kill Batman Begins edition.
Yes.
On the docket today, Batman, Christian Bale's Batman,
Mm-hmm.
the Scarecrow, Dr.
Mhm.
Crane, and Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul. I will go first to give my guests time to think. Interesting. I would smash all of them, so this is hard.
Can I ask a clarifying question, Damon?
Of course.
Are we taking all three of them in their hero or villain personas, or are like when you get Batman, you also get Bruce Wayne?
Yes, I think when you get Batman, you also get Bruce Wayne. If you get the
Okay,
Scarecrow,
great.
you also get Dr. Crane. So, like, if you go for Crane, you're also getting that nasty rag mask he wears, his
Mhm.
bag.
Also,
Just
clarifying
like that.
question.
Yeah.
Because it's Batman, is it fuck, marry, refuse to kill?
No, we're not Batman, so we will be killing. It's like, no, I will kill you.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, I think I'm gonna kill Scarecrow. I'm gonna kill Dr. Crane.
Mm.
I'm trying not to be blinded by his Oscar win this year. Like, this is 2005. It's
That's-
hard.
Have we run the numbers? Is there an Oscar bump in fuck, marry, kill games for you? That recently awarded, all of a sudden.
For Florence Pugh, there is. But for Cillian Murphy, I can Killian him softly.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Doing away with it. Also, with the fear dust, he's like, he's a bad doctor, and that makes me feel really skeevy.
Mm.
I will, I will fuck Batman, Christian Bale. I don't know. I'll do it. I'd be interested to see his. I think we were making reference to his pouty lips earlier, and I'm like, all right, I'll smooch him.
He will
Yeah.
call those bats on you in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You're gonna get
What-
swarmed.
When the
Embrace
bats
the
swarm-
fear, Damon.
Embrace it.
Kiss me.
When the bats swarmed Arkham, I was like, it felt like prop comedy to me, honestly. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
here comes my backup. And then
He's
I'm
like
gonna marry-
Aquaman, but with bats.
Truly. Oh my god, fucking bats. I'm gonna marry Ra's al Ghul because I don't know. I think I'll be in great shape. He'll train me.
Mhm.
We'll travel the world killing people, and
Mhm.
You're like a man with a plan for a future.
I really
Mhm.
do. I really do. I can't figure everything out.
Yeah.
I cannot figure everything
You like a man with a particular set of skills.
out. That's right. If our daughter ever goes missing, he'll know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe in the third movie we'll find out if she goes missing or not. I don't know.
All right. So you both have been on here equal amounts. So I'm just going to go alphabetically by your last name. So Ethan August, please. Who are your?
All right. Well, I'm only aroused if I'm completely terrified, so I have to fuck Scarecrow. That's
And that's not
if
your
I'm
fault.
if I'm not quaking in my boots, I'm not shaking in that bed. So gotta fuck Scarecrow. Damon, why'd you turn your video off?
Sorry, I had to scream about something.
I know I complain about him, but I want them billionaire bucks. I'm marrying Batman.
Okay.
And get nice to myself. That's me time. Feels like a good deal. And I will refuse to kill Raz, but if I did, I don't know, choose not to save him. At least I know he's coming
That's-
back. He's got the
that's-
Lazarus pit.
Mhm.
I think that's a better option. You're not killing. You're choosing not to save.
I'm
the
choosing
person.
not to save Raz Al Ghul, because he'll turn back up. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Right. Agreed. Trent Dozier. please.
Well, Damon, I ended in the exact same spot as you. I think I'm killing Scarecrow. I am gonna fuck Batman, and I don't know. I love Liam Neeson's, you know.
There's something about race.
It's the
Ra-
facial hair,
Raj?
isn't it?
Rash.
Yeah.
Rash
Yeah.
Al
Raz.
Ghul.
Probably get a rash from that facial hair.
Also, as a fan of Frasier, I just need a Roz in my life. Roz.
Yeah. And as a fan of Monsters Inc., I also need a Roz in my life.
My dog's name is Roz. I have a Roz in my life.
And there you go.
Wow.
There
And
you go.
that's why
Another-
you refuse to kill
And that's
him.
why I refuse to kill. Okay, so you two Batman fuckers. Which gadget did it for you? Which gadget were you like, that seals the deal? I gotta fuck that man with this
Honestly,
gadget.
none of the gadgets, but him like doing the work on the gadgets himself. I
Oh.
was like, oh, okay.
For me,
Or
it was
like at the end of the movie when he goes out to fix the well in a long sleeve polo and
Mhm.
slacks.
Yeah, I thought this insane outfit to be hammering.
Where are you going? Just doing some yard work.
what did you want him to wear? The bat suit? That's
It
what
would
he
have been more
has.
appropriate.
He works out in his pajama bottoms. You know
Yeah.
this.
That's true.
Today, I saw my neighbor coming down the hill and just stop in the middle of his walk and get down and do decline push-ups on the hill.
Wow, good for them. That's
and I was like,
impressive.
that's Bruce Wayne energy.
Yeah.
And I've been on your street. Those are steep hills.
Those are steep hills. I was like, it's a good idea. The world's your gym.
The world is your gym, and the world is your Batman Begins. As
Mm.
I've always said that.
Mhm.
Thank you, Ethan. Thank you, Trent, for being here. That's Batman Begins. We've got more Nolan on the way, but until that time, let's do some plugs. Ethan, are you on social media?
Yeah, you can find me basically being a ghost on Instagram at None by Iowa. When's this one come out? Do we know in there?
Ooh, we do know October for sure.
Wow.
October.
Trent and I are putting a little show together.
This will be on October first Monday of October, the 7th.
Great. Trent and I are putting a little show together at the end of the month at the Yard Theater on 10/25. It'll be an improvised Little Myths show in support of my friend's zine collection of, we're going to be doing folk tales, over the garden wall vibes, kind of spoopy, funny. It'll be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a really good show. We're getting a good team together, and that's my plug. Come see us at the Yard on October 25th. And 1,000 times before that, because Trent's always putting up great shows.
Yeah, exactly. Let's hear about those, Trent.
Thank you, Damon. Thank you, Ethan. Michael, thank you as well. You can find me on Instagram at Trent_Dozier, where Ethan is correct. I will plug my shows. The only thing that I can say with consistency, other than come to the Yard on the 25th, also every Thursday at 7 p.m. at the Yard Theater, I, along with Alan Giles, run a show called The Mandatory Improv Show. It's great. Damon's done it. Ethan's done it. It's just a bunch of improv, and I love improv. So come watch improv.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a strength. I feel like the last few times I've seen Trent, it's just for improv. So it's weird that we're just having a conversation. Nothing was improvised today. He trained with the League of Assassins.
Yeah. You made us 3 weeks of rehearsal to memorize the script for today's podcast.
Well, that's what they taught me in the League of Shadows. So
That's what they taught me in the League of Butlers.
Rehearse. You can follow this podcast on Instagram and TikTok at podcast616P3. That P3 stands for Press Play Podcast, or podcasting network that allows me to talk about Batman in the middle of a Marvel podcast.
Yeah.
Sorry. Agatha, we'll get to you later. You can also follow me, Damon, on Instagram at Black Chandler. Black is spelled BLK. Chandler is spelled like Chandler Bing. Michael, if you want to go to the podcast mic real quick, what letter grade would you give the podcast that we just did?
A++.
Yes.
Double plus. Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much.
I thought 2 B's for Batman Begins.
No, Ethan, we're taking the A. Thank you.
Mm.
We don't. I don't get B's for Batman.
Yeah, and to be clear, Damon, that was an A++. So let's not shortchange ourselves.
Don't short.
Yeah.
If we're gonna, yeah.
I don't want to give my mom a bad report card. Thank you, Ethan. Thank you, Trent. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Batman. Thank you, Christopher Nolan. We are on this journey. We'll see you next week for The Dark Knight. But until that time, please remember that with great power comes even greater responsibility.